You know you can count on First Security. Bank better. By Qual Choice Health Insurance, a better choice for health insurance. Make the right choice with Qual Choice. By Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please drink responsibly. Ballpark, the official hot dog of the Razorbacks.
Arkansas is playing better than a team that's lost 5 in a row, but this one's going to go into the books as an L tonight, and that one hurts.
They fought hard.
They sure did. 4th-ranked team in the country, took them right down to the wire. Reed takes the snap, takes a knee, and that's going to do it. Bobby Petrino makes his way to midfield. Mike Elko, the Texas A&M coach, sprints out. Texas A&M moves to 7-0, and the Razorbacks drop to 2-5. Heck of a show tonight, but A&M wins the ball game. 45-42, our final score.
This is Hog Reaction, brought to you by Bud Light, the world's favorite light beer. Also presented by Sawyer's, sunrooms, patio covers, pergolas, driveways, and windows, including decorative concrete. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. It doesn't get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop.
I hold it down.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
It was 5,082 days since Bobby Petrino roamed the sidelines as the head coach of your Arkansas Razorbacks, and it's also been 1,484 days and counting since you've beaten A&M. The Razorbacks fall tonight 45-42 as the visiting Aggies had to wait 2 hours after a rain delay to take on the Razorbacks, and it didn't matter. It didn't stop the potent Aggie offensive attack. That strong offensive and defensive line basically had their way with you all night. But your Razorback offense did put up some good points. This is Hog Reaction. I'm Colton Little here live on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com. If you're listening on the Hit That Line Now app, powered by Taco Bell. I got my co-host, legend number 9, Matt Jones, with me. Matt Jones is here. This is Hog Reaction, presented by Sawyer's, your source for sunrooms, patio covers, and concrete. You can visit them online at sawyers-sunrooms.com. It's also presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback. It doesn't get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. You can stop by 989 South Razorback Road or shop online at shoponrazorback.com. And by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Matt Jones, your offense scored 42 points tonight, but your defense unfortunately gave up 45, so he didn't get the job done. And looks like still things are not as certain as we would think going into this next latter half here of the SEC schedule, Matt. But good fight from your offense today. The fans stuck it out through a weather delay, and it was a good atmosphere tonight.
Yeah, 45. Good to be here with you. I think it's been 28 days since we've had a show together, so always fun working with you, man. The offense was balling, so to speak, man. The offense was a joy to watch, no question. I mean, Mike Washington. I know it was Darren McFadden patch night, and he was Washington was running like Darren McFadden tonight, man. He was a human highlight tape tonight.
Absolutely. The New Mexico transfer tonight was electric on the ground. He finished rushing tonight. He had 16 attempts for 147 yards. Wasn't able to punch one into the end zone, but whenever anything needed to get going on the ground, Mike Washington was the guy, and it started early with this 48-yard run in the first quarter.
Possession of the football game. Green's in the gun. Going to hand it off. Washington, lots of room across midfield into A&M territory. To the 40, to the 30, inside the 20. They'll drag him down from behind. Washington sprints out for 48 yards. They'll mark the football at the Aggie 10. It's 1st and goal to go.
Mike Washington finished with 147 yards on the ground. And overall, as a team, you rushed the ball pretty well. 260 yards on the ground, Matt. And you're really closer to 300 because Texas A&M had over 55 yards in negative plays as well that they were able to get from your Arkansas offense. So you were able to move the ball on the ground, Matt. It just seemed like you were playing catch-up the whole game. You didn't turn the ball over. Your defense just wasn't able to get any of the more timely stops that they needed.
Yeah, the defense got a stop for them. I don't know, once or twice it seemed like they're in the second half and held them to a field goal. But, man, that A&M team's a good team. You got to tip your hat to them. That quarterback they got over there, that number 7, he's playing on Sundays, man. That receiver that A&M has. Yeah, he's a beast. So they have some talent there. The thing is, I'm just proud of the way the guys fought.
Absolutely.
And the way they played. It seems like for whatever reason, their energy level has been up since Petrino's been the coach, and they're knocking on the door. It just feels like they're really close.
It feels like they are close. They got a couple of gettable games that we thought this early on in the season before the games had even been played. We thought that the games where you were at home against Auburn and Mississippi State, two of the weaker teams right now in the SEC, we thought those would be gettable games, and it looks like if you're able to get maybe a few more stops, that whenever those two teams come to town, you may be able to actually squeak out a couple of wins for your Arkansas Razorbacks. But Matt, you said it. That's just a really good Texas A&M team. They're number 4 in the country, and they're undefeated for a reason. And being undefeated is a hard thing. You've seen it so far this weekend several times already. Texas Tech was in trouble earlier today, and Miami dropped one last night to Louisville. There's been some really, really difficult games for undefeated teams today, including Memphis. Shout out Razorback Alex Mortensen leading the UAB Blazers over the Tigers, spoiling maybe some of their playoff dreams. So being undefeated is a tough thing to do, but Texas A&M remains undefeated today. They march into Fayetteville, wait for the rain, and take them on 45-42. One of the things that stood out to me today, Matt, I don't know about you, was that the Razorback offense in the third quarter actually scored a touchdown. And they actually were able to stay in the game for the most part. And it was a competitive game the whole way around, Matt. I think that you mentioned it right there, that it's been competitive. And it looks like since Bobby Petrino was taken over, they definitely haven't let go of the rope. It seems more like they're definitely engaged and trying their hardest, it seems like, on every single play. And we couldn't have said that late last month when a certain team with shiny gold helmets came to town.
Yeah, and the one of the things that stood out to me was A&M's depth. I mean that Emmitt Smith Jr. He's their
Oh,
fourth
man.
string running back, and
Yeah.
and he had one of the biggest runs of the night, getting stopped, getting hit back 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage on a fourth down play, and he's still able to shift around and get that. I mean that's their fourth string, just regular running back there, man. Yeah, Texas A&M has talent all up and down the field.
All up and down the field is kind of how Texas A&M was able to move the ball offensively through the air as well. Marcel Reed not only got the job done passing, but also throwing as well. 23 for 32 for 72% completion rate. He was able to pass for 15 first downs on his own tonight. So Marcel Reed was very effective, not only on the ground, but also through the air. 280 yards passing and 3 touchdowns as well for the Texas A&M Aggies, and that was one of Petrino's former pupils. So it's kind of sucks when it's a little bit of the taste of your own medicine, Matt Jones, whenever you get a really athletic quarterback that's able to make the most out of any play whenever it breaks down, and also be athletic enough to extend plays as well. So especially when you know he's been under the tutelage of Petrino, it's kind of one of those things that stings a little bit, because he's learned from him just like Talon has. And Talon had a good night as well. One thing that is not going to be lost in this is that on the wettest, sloppiest day of the year, your turnover-prone football team didn't turn the ball over. So that's definitely a positive they can take from today.
Hey, watch the film, learn from it, get better, and yeah, there's some positive things to take away from it. We're still not there yet, and get healthy. Let's see how healthy Talon Green can be. I thought if he was healthy, that one run I think he had in the third quarter could have been for 6. But man, yeah, Talon Green is a joy to watch, and so was the A&M quarterback. But Razorback fans, be thankful as long as you have him in there. And then even our backup got a play in there and completed a pass. And it's always tricky when a backup comes in the game, because a lot of times you're not really ready. It just kind of happens, and then all of a sudden you're in.
Yeah, KJ completed that pass and got absolutely rocked when he did it too. So a nice little, hey, welcome to SEC football for KJ Jackson, who'll definitely be needing to take the reins next season for this Arkansas offensive attack. It was a good day on the ground and through the air for your offense and for your Razorback football team, but things just weren't able to be. You couldn't dig yourself out of the hole that you got that you started with. Texas A&M started their offensive possessions with 3 straight touchdown drives. All 3 times they had the ball in the opening in the opening half. You were able to get it close right there at the end, and you mentioned it. Talon Green went to the injury tent. They did the ACL test on the field. I saw them do that, and I was kind of worried, assuming the worst for a second, but he was able to get on the exercise bike, get in there in the tent. The trainers were able to work their magic, and he was able to come back out, and we all know what happened. But this is Talon Green on his injury and how he's feeling after the game.
I just had a collision with the defender. It was like, knee-to-knee collision. And, went to the tent and, just doing the examinations, and, I was good. I wanted to, go back and play, and they just put a brace on it, and, just went out there and played. And I don't think it's, anything major.
He was able to go back and play after a series or so, and got out there and finished the drive with one of the gutsiest touchdown runs I've ever seen.
They've got 3 tight ends and split C.J. Brown wide right. Washington remains on the sidelines. Russell's the running back. Talon Green to throw, steps up. Now he's going to try to run inside the 25, inside the 20, inside the 10. Touchdown, Arkansas! Talon Green took off, got a block from C.J. Brown, and goes 27 yards for a touchdown.
That's a guy that wants to win and definitely has not let go of the rope. And you said it, Matt, when you have a talent like that, sometimes it's best to just sit back and watch. And when I got a co-host like you make it easy for me, buddy.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind.
All right, we'll be back here on Hog Reaction. You can join us as well, 877-377-6963. That's the phone number to get on with us here on Hog Reaction. Colton Little, myself, and Matt Jones. We are here for a little while longer. Get on with us. Talk about how you feel about the game, maybe who the next head coach should be. Got a couple of callers lined up here in just a minute. We'll be back on Hog Reaction. Y'all stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, Sawyers, and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Fall is here, and so are the savings at Lewis Automotive Group. It's the fall kickoff event, your chance to upgrade with falling prices and unforgettable deals. From special financing to a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, we make the process fast, easy, and stress-free. plus the Lewis Guarantee, where you get double the factory warranty. Visit Lewis Automotive Group in Fayetteville, Farmington, or Springdale today and drive in the fall with a deal you won't forget.
Hey Razorback fans, Matt Jones here. We're all experiencing higher prices on just about everything, and that includes sunrooms, patio covers, and windows. If you've gotten an estimate on any of these projects and you were shocked by the price, then you need to call Sawyers. They've been making quality, affordable products for 35 years. They're local, they have 100% financing, and a beautiful showroom with all their products displayed. So give my buddy Buzz a call or check them out, sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual.
Now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford, as well as heavy-duty diesel repair and diagnostics.
A friend is someone who knows where you came from. Someone who always shows up when you need them. Someone who's there for the good times and the challenging ones. With comprehensive insurance policies backed by award-winning customer service, Shelter Insurance is committed to being there when you need us most. To find your local agent, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call your Shelter Insurance agent, Randy Hughes in Fort Smith.
Top CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown Bar District.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown Bar District.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Equipment down? Got a leak? Lost pressure? Don't let hydraulic problems slow you down. At Central Hydraulics in Fort Smith, we've got the power to keep you moving. From hoses and fittings to full system repairs, our expert team delivers top quality service fast. Central Hydraulics specializes in hydraulic pumps, cylinders, and custom-built solutions, so you can get back to work. Heavy machinery, farming equipment, construction rigs, if it runs on hydraulics, we've got you covered. Visit Central Hydraulics today or call 479-646-0471 for fast, reliable service.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle. Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself.
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
Summer is finally here, and so are the road trips that you've had planned. That's why it's time to visit us at Southern Tire Mart. Southern Tire Mart's expert service, competitive pricing, and top quality tires will ensure your vehicle is ready for all your summer adventures. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is prepared for the summer. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart. We keep America rolling.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Arkansas Athletics. Also presented by Sawyers, sunrooms, patio covers, pergolas, driveways, and windows, including decorative concrete. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Green in the backfield. Washington now shifts to the left hip of his quarterback. They're going to run a shovel pass inside. Rohan Jones, and the two-point conversion successful.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. This is Hog Reaction.
Shovel pass right there from Taylon Green to Rohan Jones was actually pretty sweet. For right then, for just a second, I thought, hey, hold the phone here. Maybe Bobby Petrino can make it interesting. And he sure did. 45-42, the final score tonight. Texas A&M comes into town, waits a little bit after the rain delay. This is Hog Reaction. I'm Colton Little here with Razorback quarterback number 9, Matt Jones. You can join us on Hog Reaction, 877-377-6963. I want to read some comments here on our stream. Bossman on our Twitter stream says, we just need a whole new team on defense next year. Todd Morris here says, also on our Twitter feed, if we just had a mediocre defense, we'd be talking about a playoff chances possibly. So it's really, really frustrating. Matt, your defense tonight gave up 497 yards in total, 280 through the air, and 217 on the ground. Bobby Petrino, not known for his defensive prowess. Obviously, he has made his mark on the offensive football game here in college football, Matt. But we did notice that the effort was getting a little bit better since Sam Pittman was let go. Here is quarterback and leader of the team, Taylon Green, on the team's attitude here, trying to continue to fight, even though there's an interim head coaching tag.
Like I said in the preseason, everybody's care factor and passion, for each other and love for each other, speaks volumes, and, how close we are. And, we have a lot of emotions and, just being frustrated and all that. But, those are the times, we just got to come together. And, everybody that's been here since, January or, the other transfer portal window, that's what everybody, when we blood, sweat, and tears that we put into it. Everybody, loves when everybody is, winning, but, it's about how we respond. So
we got some calls lined up here on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Before we get to them, Matt, when you've been in a season maybe that's possibly lost, or you don't have much of a chance to compete for potentially a bowl, or going on into the playoffs, as an athlete, is it hard not to have your mindset changed and not to maybe kind of get more relaxed and go through the motions, or just some guys able to stay locked in throughout uncertainty?
Yeah, that can be tough. I think everybody's a little bit different. But right now, Colton, they're still eligible to make a bowl, and a lot of coaches. I've had a lot of really good coaches, and one of the things they've all spoke about, kind of this same thing that they all had on one of their same mantras would have been, you fight until they tell you that there's nothing else for you to do, and as long as that film's rolling, you're being evaluated for your next job. So I don't think. I don't think this group, whatever, the last couple games, man, they've been fighting, so I don't think they've let go of the rope yet.
Bobby Petrino sure was proud of the team and the way they fought. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Cody has called us in from Clay County tonight. Cody's called us in from Rector. Cody, you're on Hog Reaction here with Matt Jones and Colton Little. Do you hate Border Collies too? God, can't believe A&M beat us again. What's up, Cody?
What's up, man? How you fellas doing?
Doing good.
I'm pretty satisfied with the performance tonight, guys. I think our offense played really well. Taylon Green threw for over 256 yards and had 5 touchdowns on the night. I think he played really well. He also had Omega Blake with 118 receiving yards and a touchdown. So he did his thing also. The only thing that I want to point out is on that defensive side, man. We got to get that defensive line going, man. Yeah. I mean, we're just not getting home. We're not getting pressure.
Transfer portal this year, would you try to go heavy, like 6, 7, 8? Just bring a haul of them in.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'd do. I mean, it's just watching that defense and not getting. I mean, it's not helping the secondary out when you're not putting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, we just don't have the athletes back in the secondary to hold in coverage for that long. So if you're not getting pressure, you're putting more pressure on the back end of the defense. So Man, we just we need a lot of work on that defensive side, but the offensive side, I'm impressed with. I mean, our offense performed perfectly tonight, in my opinion. I mean, we played a top 20 defense tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the best defensive lines we're going to see this year. So I think the offense did a great job tonight.
I agree with you, Cody. I think that appreciate the call. I think, man, tonight Omega Blake was really good for you. He brought that up to start. He was, a good get out of the transfer portal. But man, I mean, Matt, Texas A&M had 6 sacks tonight, or excuse me, 6 hurries tonight and 4 sacks. You had 0 hurries and 0 sacks. They were constantly rotating defensive linemen in and out, and I did see that number 99, Caleb James, actually got some serious snaps on the field. And I don't want to hate on a player that I know has been working really hard to be able to get to this point in his career, but he has 270 pounds, and he's playing defensive tackle in the middle of an SEC football game. Just kind of goes to show you, Matt, you talked about Texas A&M's depth. The Razorbacks just don't have that same quality depth on the other side, and I thought tonight your defense wasn't able to get to Marcel Reed at all. He was kept clean most of the game. I think one of the few times you actually touched him, you were flagged for roughing the passer late in the third quarter. So, Matt, that defense, I mean, you mentioned it. Is it the transfer portal? I mean, that's what you got to do. They spent a lot of money, and they did get a high volume of players and defenders last year, but you think maybe they just miffed on some of the Italian evaluations on some of these guys?
We've kind of been in flux on this Arkansas team, and especially where you're going to choose to put your money in. You can tell they gave a lot of money to Washington because, man, that dude is a baller. Omega Blake, Omega Blake is as well. And to that last caller, you're right. If you have a better defensive line, your linebackers look better and your secondary looks better.
Absolutely.
There's some talent on this. You just have to. The thing about defensive line is you have to be able to rotate. You need to be 2 deep. You have to have 8 of them because you're going to be banged up. You're going to have some injuries through the season. But if you have 8 of them, that means you can rotate and you keep everybody fresh. Those defensive linemen are studs, man. They're hard to find. And if you can identify some in the portal, I don't know if you look at smaller schools like Memphis. I thought Memphis had a couple defensive linemen that could play SEC ball, and you have to have a plethora of them. And we're lacking a little bit in the depth area.
Only 2 tackles for a loss tonight for your Razorback defense as well. Just not able to really disrupt anything on the Texas A&M offense. And when a Marcel Reed's got a lot of time to throw, he's going to be able to hit some of those big-time receivers they have, Craven, and you mentioned Concepcion whenever we started the game. They've got a lot of weapons to choose from. And, Matt, Texas A&M, they look really, really good. Do you think this is a legit team that's going to be able to compete, in a 12-team playoff scenario?
They have a couple deficiencies. They like to play with the lead. They like to rush the passer. They're not as well.
They were very aggressive blitzing.
Yeah. They don't like to. You can be physical with them, and I thought we were. We ran the ball well, so there's definitely a formula to beat Texas A&M. But yeah, I think Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, those 3 teams right now probably have a stronghold on being the best 3 teams in the SEC. It looks like Kentucky's they got Texas in overtime, and I really don't know what to make of Vanderbilt. We're supposed to buy in that Vanderbilt's the 4th best team in the SEC.
Vanderbilt notching a nice win today at home against LSU. We'll get to the SEC scoreboard here in just a little bit, but Arkansas could not take care of Texas A&M today. They lose their 5th straight game, now falling to 2-5 on the season. But as Matt Jones mentioned earlier, all hope is not lost for all of you Sunshine pumping fans out there. There is still a chance they can win 5 straight games and find a way to get to bowl eligibility. I guess they only need 4 to get to 6 and maybe 6-6, and we'd be back in Memphis in the Liberty Bowl, our favorite home away from home.
And you're right, Colton, but it starts with 1.
That's right. That's a winning streak, baby. You got to have 1 first.
A flaky Auburn team coming in, and they've had a couple battles. So have we. That Auburn game, it might be if somebody can get a double-digit lead and hold on. So you might be able to kind of run away with that or something. Both sides, but that's going to be an emotional game, and if it's going to be a real early game, 2 teams coming off a couple defeats, and as long as you better wake up early and be ready to go, because if you can jump on a team early, I think in some of those early games, gives you a chance.
Auburn playing with the lead right now at home against Missouri. It's 17-10 there with about 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. So Things shaking up here in the SEC. Matt mentioned earlier Texas and Kentucky in overtime, a real prove it or lose it moment here for Arch Manning and Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns, still trying to remain relevant here in the SEC picture. But we'll get to the SEC scoreboard here in just a little bit. This is Hog Reaction. Stick around here. Colton Little, Matt Jones. If you want to get on with us, it's 877-377-6963. You can comment on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. The Instagram stream is up tonight as well. You can listen to us on the Hit That Line Now app. Come back and hang out with us here. Hog Reaction as the Razorbacks fall to Texas A&M again, 45-42. Back in just a minute.
Listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, Sawyers, and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Summer is finally here, and so are the road trips that you've had planned. That's why it's time to visit us at Southern Tire Mart. Southern Tire Mart's expert service, competitive pricing, and top quality tires will ensure your vehicle is ready for all your summer adventures. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is prepared for the summer. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart. We keep America rolling.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
This is Zachary Hall, the Arkansas Storm Tracker. The GM Mart team is excited to announce their Customer Appreciation Day on Thursday, October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be specials all day long, including a big 99-cent menu with Crispitos, corn dogs, chicken tenders, and more. Be sure to wait to fill up your gas tanks that week. The discounted prices will be worth it. Plus, they're drawing for a gas card. You can sign up for your chance to win all week in-store. 99-cent sausage biscuits will be available at the GM Mart Phoenix Avenue location Monday through Friday. Don't miss out on Customer Appreciation Day at GM Mart on Phoenix Avenue, Thursday, October 23rd.
Family owned and operated since 1950, Crabtree RV Center is proud to have served the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas for 75 amazing years. From a small dealership on Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith to 17 acres located at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, Arkansas, Crabtree RV Center is your one-stop shop for sales, service, and parts. Come celebrate 75 years with us and take advantage of spectacular savings all year long. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
It's football season, and that means tailgate parties and gathering with friends. River Point Wine and Spirits has all your favorite party supplies. You'll love our clean, organized store full of all the best liquor, wine, and beer. At River Point, we're a family-owned business where customer service is always our priority. Your journey, our spirit. River Point Wine and Spirits, Grand Avenue and I-540.
Want pavement protection that goes the distance? Seal-Tite of Arklahoma now offers Rhino-Tite Premium Asphalt Emulsified Sealant, the next level in driveway and parking lot care. Healthier for the environment, Rhino-Tite delivers superior defense against weather, UV rays, and wear and tear. With its high solids content, you'll get a smoother, stronger, longer-lasting driving surface. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a contractor buying in bulk, Seal-Tite has the products and support you need. Visit SealTiteArklahoma.com today and protect your pavement with Rhino-Tite.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Arkansas Athletics. Also presented by Sawyer's, sunrooms, patio covers, pergolas, driveways, and windows, including decorative concrete. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Green in the backfield. Washington now shifts to the left hip of his quarterback. They're going to run a shovel pass inside. Rohan Jones, and the two-point conversion successful.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. This is Hog Reaction.
We're going to keep competing. No question about it. These are good kids. They have stuck together and we're going to keep building on. It's not going to be the last time in their life they go through hard times. It's going to mean a lot more when they have kids and the alarm clock goes off at 6 a.m. and they don't feel good. They get up and go to work and do a good job anyway. That's what this is supposed to be about. So we're just going to keep pounding at that. And I feel good about them. Every time I talk to them, they're very attentive. They look me in the eyes and they want to win games. They want to win football games. We've got to give them a better opportunity as a staff to get that victory.
No question, this team is a long way away from on an effort standpoint from what we saw at the very last play of the first half of that Notre Dame game. That was Bobby Petrino right there post-game talking about how they were going to keep competing and that he had faith in them to be able to do that. This is Hog Reaction here on ESPN Arkansas. Matt Jones with me. This is Colton Little here. Hog Reaction is presented by Sawyer's, sunrooms, pergolas, driveways, and windows. If you have been shocked by a quote from the other companies, you can give them a call at Sawyer Sunrooms, keeping prices low and the quality high for over 35 years. You can visit them online at sawyers-sunrooms.com. And hey, you know what? It's actually Hogtoberfest at the Stadium Shop on Razorback. We were there this morning for Arkansas Game Day. It's your Razorback Game Day headquarters there at the Stadium Shop. All October long, you can buy one, get one, 50% off regular price clothing items, including hats of equal or lesser value. Plus, you can check out the 75% off sale rack while you're there. It doesn't get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Stop by 989 South Razorback Road or shop online at Razorback. Shop on Razorback.com. Also sponsored by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Razorback Athletics. This is Hog Reaction. Colton Little, Matt Jones is with me. You heard Coach right there at the end, Matt. You mentioned it early on. This team is fighting a lot harder, and they are getting a lot better, and it is serving them a lot of life lessons, because let me tell you, when the alarm clock goes off at 6 a.m. when you're a grown person, that is no fun. You don't feel good most of the time, and you do got to get up, but you think maybe this effort that they continue to show will result in some wins here these next two games against lesser opponents in the SEC?
And they'll be making less money than what they're making.
They sure will. They sure will. They got to soak that up while they while they got it.
Man, he's right. These kids are good kids, and you're pulling for them, and they're fighting their guts out. I mean, Taylon Green, some of the runs he had.
Oh man.
Just getting hit, and then he get back up, has to go in the tent, comes back with a brace, and is still just giving it. You can see it means a lot to him. I mean, he's fighting his tail off, and I thought Braylon Russell, when he got in, I thought he was running the ball good, but there was no room because Mike Washington's getting a first down every time he touches the ball, and it was kind of tough getting on the field. But man, you were proud. You were proud to watch this Arkansas offense go, and the defense did get it. They held them to a field goal once, but man, Colin Klein, I thought, called a heck of a game.
He did, yeah.
And that Marcel, I mean, like we said, A&M, they got a lot of good players on that team as well.
They were able to scheme you up a little bit on defense, especially down there near the goal line, and it also helps when they have just a mammoth offensive line they can use to overpower people. But you mentioned Taylon Green, his ability to escape and move around and extend plays. That fourth quarter, fourth down run that he had with about a minute left to try and maybe keep things a little bit more interesting was just insane.
This is the last gasp here. Fourth down. From their own 12, pressure coming. Green's in trouble, running for his life, coming to his left. He's got some room. He's going to get the first down to the 20, to the 30. Green at midfield into Aggie territory. He zigs and zags all the way down to the A&M 39. Can you believe that? A 49-yard run from scrimmage, and I think he must have gone 75 or 80.
Taylon Green finishes the night with 12 rushes, 133 yards. You mentioned Mike Washington. He had 154, and Braylon Russell had 36 yards on 4 carries. You said Mike Washington was essentially a first down every time he carried the ball. Matt, he finished with 9.2 yards per touch. So every time he ran the ball, he was essentially getting a first down for your Arkansas Razorback football team, and that's a lot of thanks to your offensive line up there. And Washington was very complimentary of his offensive line, talking to him about his big night tonight.
First, I want to shout out the O-lineman. I'm gonna keep saying that. I've been saying it since day one. We have the best O-line in the country, and I'm gonna stand 10 toes on that. Every day. Without them, them holes, they wouldn't have been there. I wouldn't have 147 yards. So, big ups to them.
And there is some give and take there with the offensive line because Taylon Green, unfortunately, did not finish the night with a clean jersey. Matt, what's your take on how the offensive line performed tonight?
Run blocking, they have stepped their game up, no question about it, and knowing what your scheme and what your steps are and what you're trying to do. I agree with Mike Washington. When it comes to run blocking, we're one of the best offensive lines in the country. Pass blocking's tough. I mean, it's always tough too when you're playing from behind. As close as this game was, we never had the lead, and when you're playing from behind, teams can kind of pin their ears back and come and get you, and so it's tough, man. Being an offensive lineman is kind of a thankless job. I mean, you got to go out there, protect your quarterback, and when you give up a sack, it's like everybody's pointing at you, and it's tough. And so no question about it, being an offensive lineman sometimes isn't a fun way to play football, but it's a necessary thing. You got to have a good offensive line, and I would think that this offensive line, Colton, is the best offensive line that this Hogs team has had since the year they beat Penn State in the bowl game.
Yeah, unquestionably, this is the best unit you've seen in a long time, and that's all the way across the board. I was thinking one thing I was watching today was Marion Harris was able to. I mean, I think that he did a pretty good job handling. I forget the name of the defender for Texas A&M already. Number 9. He was all over the place on defense, but he was one of their big studs on the edge for the Aggies. And Marion Harris is a guy that was fighting for playing time last year. Was able to kind of get in there, and he did not have very good grades, and was not, or excuse me, grades from PFF, not grades in school. He's a very bright young man, but he did not have very good, a display of skill at times last year. And he's been able to fight through through a couple injuries as well, and be able to be a really good right tackle for this offensive football team as well. And he was able to hold his own tonight as they moved number 9 around for Texas A&M. So as a whole, this offensive line has gotten better, moving guys off the line, and I think you said it, Matt. It's the best unit they've had in a long time. But we talked with Cody. We talked with Cody about this earlier, who called us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline about how the Razorback defensive line was not able to generate any pressure at all on Marcel Reed. And then tonight, we saw what happens whenever there's pressure in your quarterback's face. He's forced to make some decisions, and there was an early 4th down play. They tried to hit Rohan Jones, and they had the leak play to Maddox Lassiter, and Taylon Green just didn't pull the trigger because he saw a little bit of a guy flash in his face. Matt, as a quarterback, when you've got that pressure and you've been facing pressure all night, what's kind of your mentality when you know that you have to throw when you're down?
Yeah, you see that flash across, and the thing about Taylon Green, he's such a great athlete that when somebody flashes across, that means there's nobody behind him. So if you can get past him, then there's going to be space, and that's what you're trying to do is get to space. And man, things happen quick, and sometimes when it's when you get down to the red zone, you understand that they happen quick. But when you have all that field and it's 1st down and 2nd down, and then all of a sudden you get to like a 4th and 2, you got to be ready for it. You got to know that it's going to happen quick, and sometimes you barely have time to get your feet set. And you're right, that's one of those where all he had to do was flick it up, like just flick it up and let your guy run underneath it because there's nobody else back there. And that's one of those deals when you go back and you watch film and you get the look and you count the box and you understand how many people are in the secondary, and it's like, hey, this is something and it's a learning moment. It's a teaching moment. And so there's a lot of learning and teaching moments out there. But they did, man. Those kids played good, and Taylon's such a joy to watch. And one of those that play, that's when I was watching it, I wrote down, man, that's just a tough play. That really is. It's just one of those. He'll go back and look, on film, and then to a teaching moment where the next time if that happens this year, I bet he makes that throw.
And I believe it was against Mississippi State last year on the road. We saw them kind of run that cowboy boot play where they fake it and they hit when Luke Haas was still on the team. They hit him with that. I think it was a similar play to that. I think they was flipped on the other side. But it is something that, Taylen Green has gotten a lot better at this year, is not necessarily taking off the minute he sees. He has been able to stand and deliver today, and he was able to stand and deliver to Omega Blake, who finished today with one of the best days he's had in a Razorback uniform.
Hogs right up on the ball, trips right, Green to throw, quick slant, left side, Blake, complete at the 30, breaks a tackle inside the 25, Blake's down to the 22-yard line. Yards after the catch for Blake, 22 and a first down.
He finished with 48 yards after the catch today, 1 touchdown, 118 yards overall. On 8 targets, he hauled in 7 receptions. Matt, but, last year that might have been a stat line that we would see from Andrew Armstrong, and he may be the only person that was getting a good bulk of receptions or targets all night, but we also saw C.J. Brown have 9 targets. So Taylen Green has been able to sort of distribute the ball a little bit better this season.
Yeah, you can see his footwork's better. You can see his knowledge of the offense is better. Omega Blake, though, to your point, is, man, he's making a case to get drafted, I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can tell his body type. I like the way that he catches the ball with his hands. And then he's always a threat. When he gets the ball, he runs violent. Yeah, man, what a game from him, and hopefully you can build on that. And Auburn and Missouri's in a tough one right now, and so you're going to get a little bit more rest, even though it's 4 or 5 hours, and we should have got a little more rest with the 2-hour delay. But you're going to have a little more rest than Auburn will, because it's going that Saturday kickoff, man, at 11:45. That's going to come quick, and they're tied up 17-17 in the fourth quarter with Missouri with a battle on their hands.
17-17 in the fourth quarter, as Matt mentioned there. On the Plains, Missouri trying to stay relevant here. They're 5-1 right now, but sitting at 1-1 in the SEC. And Drinkwitz is a really hot name on a lot of coaching hot boards right now. Elsewhere around the SEC, it's 20-37 in the Cigar game. 3 minutes and change left to go in the fourth quarter. Tennessee not able to stick up with Alabama in the second quarter, and it looks like it'll be the Crimson Tide smoking those cigars tonight. Texas was able to hang on the road in Lexington. They come away with a 16-13 win. We know what happened here in Fayetteville today. 2-hour delay. Texas A&M did what they wanted with you offensively, but you had them on their heels defensively. You finish up 45-42. Top 10 matchup in Athens. Georgia hangs on 43-35. Strong second quarter from the Bulldogs. Gunnar Stockton looked really, really good today, Matt. And we talked earlier today about Vanderbilt and LSU. Vanderbilt, they're 6-1, one of the best starts they've had since 1950. 75 years. It reminds me of that Titanic quote where it's been 84 years. It's been a long time since Vanderbilt's had this successful start to a season. And LSU, I've seen some rumblings about a lot of Tiger fans on my Twitter timeline that are not satisfied with Brian Kelly's performance this season. Oklahoma 26-7 against South Carolina. A promising Heisman campaign for Lenora Sellers has definitely fallen flat. And boy, is it going to be awkward in Gainesville tomorrow when apparently they're going to fire Billy Napier, but he beat Mississippi State tonight 23-21. That's your SEC update from around the league tonight, Matt. Lots of exciting football going on. Anything that stood out to you today around the league?
Man, the thing that I noticed, I watched a little bit of that Mississippi-Georgia game because of the delay, and Georgia's athletes they have the depth as well. I was impressed with Mississippi. The thing there is Georgia started kind of banging on their head a little bit, being physical, and that's how you're going to beat Mississippi. The thing in Florida, man, there's going to be a lot of jobs opening up. I wonder what's your thoughts on. Do you think Petrino's doing enough so far that they're going to remove that interim title?
Boy, that is the $1 million question. That's actually the very first text that we got tonight was from the 870. It says, "Give Bobby the job now. Let him work without having the handcuffs. He can start evaluating." He can start evaluating his players and staff and salvage some recruiting. No big buyout, just a 4-year contract. And I like those points. I think that Bobby is going to have to do enough. I think that the moral victories are great. Obviously, yes, the team is buying in. There's no doubt they've been competitive. And, I believe it's 6 out of the 7 games they've been in so far. This team is fun to watch offensively. It's a nightmare on defense. I think there's nothing that you can do that say Bobby Petrino is going to be the next head coach if he doesn't bring the wins with him. And I think that obviously, yes, he's proven that he is able to still effectively lead a team and be able to get leadership and buy-in from what he's coaching and what he's preaching. But I think that for the future of your football program, you can't just rely on the nostalgia of, hey, that one time we were number 3 in the country and Bobby Petrino was the coach. I know that he is able to still have that fire that we see. He's kind of got that Chucky kind of mentality as well, where he's kind of just snarling over there in the corner, watching practice and, making sure everything is in finite detail and down to a T and making sure all the execution is done. But I think for the future of your program, you got to get somebody young in here. We talked about it on the Morning Rush a couple of times. Tommy's mentioned that he wants a guy with a defensive background, and I'm wholeheartedly in his camp with that. I'd love to see somebody young with a defensive background get in here that is willing to embrace NIL and willing to embrace recruiting and the disadvantages that come with being a recruit, someone having to recruit to Arkansas and recruit in Arkansas, where there's not a high, volume of major players that you can get every year like you see in surrounding states. But Bobby is a really good coach. Today, to give a short answer to your short question that I gave a long answer to, Matt, I don't know, but he's got to start winning some games if he wants to sign a contract at the end of the year. This is Hog Reaction here. Matt Jones is with me. Matt, what's up? You say something?
No. Listen,
I got you.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I know that leadership aspect, that means a lot to you as a player, but man, I just know that at the end of the day, Bobby Petrino is the type of guy that everywhere he's been, every job he's had, it's got this sort of ticking time bomb feel to it. I don't want things to end as poorly as they have at other places. Obviously, the thing that happened here, you can obviously forgive him for that. You can't really forget about it because it did happen and it puts you in a massive hole. But, his track record for building programs is not as good as people like to actually make it out to be. But I think that you would be there's a lot worse candidates out there that you could end up with, and Bobby Petrino as well. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to get a chance. I think these next 2 games are very winnable. I think they're going to be totally different than the Tennessee game and then this last game against A&M. It might be the first one to 24. It's going to be both teams running the ball, both teams trying to be physical. Can anybody get any explosive plays? Auburn's going to be a physical team, and maybe it is. Maybe it's a game where it goes 45-42, and then we're on the right side of it.
Yeah. It would be nice to have the ball bounce your way. Luckily, no balls were bouncing anywhere today on the field because none of the teams turned the ball over today in the Arkansas and A&M game, which is just funny because it was a sloppy, wet mess out there. But one thing that was for sure, despite the rain, despite the delays, the fans still stayed through, and Bobby Petrino definitely noticed that. He talked about that post-game.
Oh, the crowd was awesome. I know the players were very, very appreciative all 4 quarters at the energy that they brought. And, the second quarter really stood out to me, how loud they were when we went and were able to score twice. So it was awesome to have that crowd there and the fans out there. And we've got to continue to give them a good product, but with a win.
Yeah, that's kind of the caveat at the end there. You got to give them a win eventually because they'll fill the stands no matter what. It's a great fan base. They're going to come rain or shine, 2-4, 4-2, 5-0, 0-5. They're going to fill that stadium up whenever there's a good opponent in town. And like he said, Matt, you just got to eventually kind of try and find a win. So Auburn and Mississippi State coming up. We kind of thought early on in the season those would be 2 games that the Razorbacks would be able to handle. They've looked a little bit tougher than maybe we thought, not quite as much of a cakewalk as we thought it might have been. But, looking at the next 2 games after that bye week, Matt, those are 2 teams that I also have some questions about. LSU and Texas as well. I think that obviously they're defensively going to be very stout, but those 2 offenses don't really scare me with our porous defense, to be quite honest with you.
Well, you think, and this is what I think we're kind of believing as Razorback fans is you think that Bobby Petrino is going to score on every possession, if not every other possession. So you're going to play a team like LSU that's struggling, a team like Texas that is struggling. You think your defense is going to get a couple more stops. You don't think that Texas is going to score 41 points on you or that LSU is right now. now. And so it's going to be a different type of game with a different type of belief. And can that defense get some stops? And I think they can, because I think those teams right now are kind of hurting themselves a little bit. So you can bend, don't break, hold them to – and a stop right now is holding them to a field goal. Because we feel like it with Taylon Green and Mike Washington and Omega Blake and company – you feel like this team can score a touchdown or two in every quarter. And if you keep doing that, man, you're going to score 35, 38 points these next couple of weeks. I think that could be enough to get a couple victories.
Certainly a high-powered offense that has been carving the way for your offensive Razorback, or for your Razorback offense. 527 yards net total today, but still, unfortunately, you were playing catch-up for most of the day. We'll play catch-up right here. Went long on that segment. I got to hit a break. This is Hog Reaction, brought to you by Sawyer Sunrooms, the Stadium Shop on Razorback, and Bud Light. Matt Jones, Colton Little back in just a second here on Hog Reaction, breaking it down. Aggies beat the Razorbacks 45-42. Back in just a second.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, Sawyers, and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Hog fans, this is Robert.
And this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth, and we want to introduce the newest member to the Mann family, Raleigh.
Hello, 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 and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Raleigh, you're not really new to the family or the Stadium Shop.
Yeah, I've been around a few years, and I can say it's awesome to be a part of the only family, alumni, and locally owned Razorback store in Arkansas.
You mean the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
And thank goodness we are the largest, because we've been receiving so much new stuff lately, like the new Nike jerseys and sideline apparel, as well as your favorite brands like Champion, Tommy Bahama, and Cutter and Buck, and just way too much stuff to mention here.
Hey, Raleigh, what state's famous for their small drinks?
Raleigh don't.
Matt, I gotta try. What state is famous for the smallest drinks?
Minnesota.
See, I told you.
Yeah, his dad jokes are so legendary.
Anyway, stop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road next time you're in Fayetteville.
Or call us at 479 Stadium. That's 479-782-3486.
Or shop the Googleator Facegram interweb page.
Dad, it's called a website, and it's shoponrazorback.com. Folks, it just does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675, or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Wade Gilkey or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter and Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb Instagram
He means the website, which is shop on Razorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
Do you need closure on your garage? Call Grit Garage Doors. Whether it's a new door, a squeaky closing sound, a broken spring, or just off track, Grit is who you can trust. Call Grit. There's no door Grit can't close. Local team, local service with honesty and integrity. Call Grit Garage Doors. 479-430-3667. That's 479-430-DOOR. Grit is who you can trust.
Fall is here and so are the savings at Lewis Automotive Group. It's the fall kickoff event, your chance to upgrade with falling prices and unforgettable deals. From special financing to a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, we make the process fast, easy, and stress-free. Plus the Lewis Guarantee, where you get double the factory warranty. Visit Lewis Automotive Group in Fayetteville, Farmington, or Springdale today and drive in the fall with a deal you won't forget.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Arkansas Athletics. Also presented by Sawyer's, sunrooms, patio covers, pergolas, driveways, and windows, including decorative concrete. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Green in the backfield. Washington now shifts to the left hip of his quarterback. They're going to run a shovel pass inside. Rohan Jones, and the two-point conversion successful.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. This is Hog Reaction.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's doing a really nice job, and we did a couple new and different things formational-wise that I thought helped us out in the run game. And they had to defend the pass early. I thought that, also helped us a lot in the run game early.
Bobby Petrino right there. You heard him talking about the successful night on the ground the Razorbacks had. They finished with 323 yards rushing overall. They ended up losing 55 with all those sacks that they ended up giving up. We had a text coming earlier that said Taylor had a great night except for losing about 60 yards on those 3 sacks. Unfortunately, that was D from Fort Smith. He said he need Taylor not to take 60 yards on sacks. That was really unfortunate that happened for Taylor Green tonight. But overall, the Razorbacks were able to move the ball very efficiently on the ground. Taylor Green had 133 yards rushing. Mike Washington having a big night with over 150. And Braylon Russell as well with 36. Matt Jones, the Razorbacks were able to run the ball very, very well. But how do you think Taylor Green did throwing the ball tonight, Matt?
I thought Taylor did pretty well. No question about it. I don't think he just locked in on one guy, which has kind of been one of his things. I think there's a little bit in when it comes to identifying pressure, and you're talking about what the guy texted in and taking those long sacks and understanding that when pressure's coming from both sides and then so identifying it and can you get us into a better play. Is there a way to check into any type of hot play? And then the third thing, and this is kind of the razor's edge, this is kind of the sword, so to speak, Colton, is do you have him just throw the ball away right away once you see pressure and live to fight another day? Or do you say, no, Holmes, try to use your athletic ability, because how many times does he run out of pressure and get a 47-yard run? He did that 3 or 4 times as well. So it's kind of tough, and you don't want to take away that kid from being an athlete, because if he can get past that first wave, like I said, once the pressure comes, then there's space right behind that. And man, when he gets a little bit momentum going, man, he's a first down waiting to happen.
Yeah, absolutely is. And we had Chris Marler on, Vern Funquist on Twitter, who is 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge and LouisianaSports.net. He was on yesterday. He mentioned that how he thought Taylor Green, just that backyard football type of mentality that he has, where he's able to draw a play up in the dirt, kind of in the huddle, just hey, nothing else happens, I'm taking off. That type of mentality that he brings to the football team, it makes him one of the most exciting players to watch in the entire country. So when he's able to do that, Matt, you're right. You don't want to handcuff him and just say, hey, you need to become this pocket passer, Peyton Manning, sheriff type quarterback where, you work within the pocket and you're not able to step up and move. And make this offense go and make this offense click. You definitely don't want to do that, but he was able to distribute the ball very, very well tonight. We're able to distribute lots of opinions here tonight, but we want to hear from you. 877-377-6963. Coach Little, Dad's called us here on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. What's up, Dad? Kind of a crappy game to watch tonight, huh? But what'd you think?
Well, I'll preface it by saying I was a Bobby Petrino fan back in his first stint.
I remember,
and I still am. I still am. I love the way that he organizes offensive play calling and puts people in positions and takes advantages of mismatches and so on and so forth. I think he's done a great job with this group. Coming back in last year. I think I said something similar. I may have texted you earlier before the show, something similar to what that one guy texted in, that give Bobby a chance to go shop for the groceries himself. And now that he's cooking the dinner, and I think they'll be a contender. I know you want somebody younger, maybe defensive minded or whatever. I'm not against that, but every time you stop and change, it seems like you take steps backwards. And I think with Bobby, it's unique in that he's returning. He's been our head coach. He's proven head coach. He's proven in the SEC. There's very few guys. I mean, you think about Saban, Smart, Clemson. Those guys. There's very few of those guys that you can say have a number of national championship wins under their belt. After those 3 or 4, 5, maybe at the most, they're all the same. And Bobby's one of those guys. He's just as good as any of the rest of them. And I think he wants to be here. That always means something to me. I know that Sam wanted to be here, but Houston, those guys, they're Arkansas, and I think he wants to be here. I think he's done a good job. Yeah, he needs to win, and I think we will. But I'm pleased with the effort, the change in attitude, and those are things that go a long way. Now, if we can just try to find some pieces on defense, I think we'll be a contender.
I'm with you, Coach. Appreciate the call. Thank you for that. And you know what? I don't want to disagree with old Dad there, but I'm still going to have to. I think that he's right. Anytime that you do want to do that change, Matt, it is difficult. Anytime that there's any kind of coaching change, it does feel like, if not going backwards, you're certainly putting the brakes on and stopping everything. And that's what we did early on in this season, is we just kind of had to say, hey, we are going to do a full reset. Coach, you're in charge. You may want the job, but you just kind of try and get us through. And of course, that's not Bobby's mindset. To Coach's point right there, I think that I think that he's right. There are not a lot of guys that have been at that level of football that have been able to call as many plays as he's had to call, and has been able to be in those situations as a head coach late in games in the SEC. I mean, you could absolutely do a lot worse. The only other guy I can think of that's actually in your candidate pool is Dan Mullen, and he actually went on Twitter recently, this past couple days ago, Matt, and said he had 0.0 interest in the Arkansas job, and actually joked and said that we should hire Gus Malzahn. So whether or not that's just Dan Mullen, kind of being the character that Dan Mullen is or not, these guys, these older guys, they may have been around, but some of the things that got them fired, some of the things that they're used to, it's not the same anymore. So that's kind of just my take on it, Matt. But what do you think? I mean, is staying put, kind of just putting the brakes on and sort of just letting Bobby put the blanket over everything, going to work out, or what?
Well, and if you don't want to be here, like as far as Dan Mullen, then we then go ahead, do your thing. But I think there's a lot to be said about, do you want to be here, and is this a stepping stone job? So, and to your pops' point, Bobby can dial up an offensive game plan with the best of them. Yeah, no question about that. The questions I have are, does he still relate with the younger player? Are they still listening to the message? And it looks like they are. If you want a guy that wants to be here, and not that other people might not want him, but you want a guy who wants to be here 5, 6, 9 years. You need something like that. And I think Bobby, if he got that job, I don't think he would be shopping around trying to go somewhere else. If you go and get a young defensive coach, which I like that move too. You go and get somebody, kind of change it up a little bit. How long do you think he'll be here? Is it something like the Indiana coach? Is it something like Hugh Freeze? I mean, wouldn't that be a good problem to have, though? We start winning 9 games a year, then of course we're going to pay him. That's the thing that I think that I think most people understand that. If a coach comes to Arkansas and he wins back-to-back 10-win seasons like the coach at Indiana.
They'll build him a statue out front of the
man,
stadium,
they're gonna pay him money if you start winning like Eli Drinkowitz is winning at and he's an Arkansas guy. You know, he's from right in the backyard. If you start going up, if the next coach does what he's doing at Arkansas, then they're gonna pay him as well.
Yeah, Matt, do you have just off the top of your head? I mean, are there any other candidates that maybe fit that mold that stand out to you that maybe Arkansas might want to take a swing at?
Well, there's a lot of criteria. There's a lot of questions to be asked. You know, I'm partial to guys like Dal Loggins, who's an offensive guy, who's an Arkansas guy. I like Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator for Texas A&M. I've been kind of on his bandwagon. You know, a quarterback from Kansas State, and was the OC there, doing some good things there. There's a lot of good young talented guys up there. And you have to get back to recruiting the state of Arkansas. I don't think people understand that when you lose every year, you lose your top 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are from the state of Arkansas, and they go somewhere else to play. When you're recruiting guys from outside the state, they're looking at that like, wow, so your best kids don't even want to come to Arkansas. You know, like it's just whatever. That has to change. That would be one of the and the coach doesn't necessarily have to be an Arkansas guy for that to change, but you have to understand your cornerstone, the route, where it goes. Like you have to, if kids in the state of Arkansas can play high-level Division I football, you got to get them up there on the hill.
There's only going to be a limited number of 4- and 5-star products every year that come out of the state of Arkansas. And so, like you said, Matt, if you're not building this wall around your state and taking that limited pool that you already have, everybody else is not. I mean, they're going to poach those players, and they're going to be from the surrounding schools that have an SEC institution that represent them. So it's nothing that needs to happen immediately, but you do have to get in there and find a way to stop that. It has to be a culmination of, hey, we've got plenty of money to pay you. That's how it goes now. We have plenty of money to pay you. Hey, this is the home state. We got that hog on our helmet. It means something to be here. You do have to find somebody that will lock up Arkansas and not let those kids go anywhere else. We don't want you to go anywhere else. One more segment here of Hog Reaction. We'll wrap it up with your phone calls as well as putting a pretty little bow on what happened today in college football. This is Matt Jones and Colton Little here on Hog Reaction on ESPN Arkansas. We'll be back in just a second, folks. Stay with us.
Listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, Sawyers, and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Hey Razorback fans, Matt Jones here. We're all experiencing higher prices on just about everything, and that includes sunrooms, patio covers, and windows. If you've gotten an estimate on any of these projects and you were shocked by the price, then you need to call Sawyers. They've been making quality, affordable products for 35 years. They're local, they have 100% financing, and a beautiful showroom with all their products displayed. So give my buddy Buzz a call or check them out at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Less than 2 seconds left on the clock and no timeouts, Peter. I don't know what they're going to do. Down 3 and way out of field goal range. Truly an unlucky state to be in.
This state has plenty of luck. Last year, 8 Arkansans each won $1 million off a lottery ticket.
State as in a state of being, not... Whoa, touchdown Razorbacks.
Did you? This is winning, folks. Every lottery ticket you buy in Arkansas helps fund college scholarships. You could be the next big winner. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Equipment down? Got a leak? Lost pressure? Don't let hydraulic problems slow you down. At Central Hydraulics in Fort Smith, we've got the power to keep you moving. From hoses and fittings to full system repairs, our expert team delivers top quality service fast. Central Hydraulics specializes in hydraulic pumps, cylinders, and custom-built solutions, so you can get back to work. Heavy machinery, farming equipment, construction rigs, if it runs on hydraulics, we've got you covered. Visit Central Hydraulics today or call 479-646-0471 for fast, reliable service.
Looking for quality metal buildings and roofing? Metal Mart has you covered. From prefabricated metal buildings to custom trim, carports, and more, Metal Mart is your one-stop shop. Contractors and do-it-yourselfers are always welcome, and their experts will help you calculate the materials you need, all at a price you can afford. With locations in Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Jonesboro, or visit metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Archery deer season is here, and Infinity Sports and Outdoors has all your archery needs and more. Infinity Sports has top compound bows from Hoyt, PSC, Prime, Darton, Bear, and Elite Plus crossbows from 10 Point, Wicked Ridge, Barnett, and Killer Instinct, all tuned and ready to shoot. Expert bow techs with years of experience are on site to get you dialed in and ready to hunt. Infinity Sports and Outdoors, 3700 Highway 71 North in Alma.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Presented by Sharp Equipment. You're invited to an open house hosted by Sharp Equipment, and it's 100% free. On Friday, October 24th from 11 to 1 p.m., they're throwing an open house party to showcase their new facility and services for their amazing customers and community. So come hungry, bring your friends, and get ready for good eats, giveaways, and an opportunity to donate to support the community holiday dinners. Chambers Bank will be grilling out, and they will be there live. They'd love for you to join them at Sharp Equipment, 3918 Pointer Trail East in Van Buren, on Friday, October 24th from 11 to 1.
This is Zachary Hall, the Arkansas Storm Tracker. The GM Mart team is excited to announce their Customer Appreciation Day on Thursday, October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be specials all day long, including a big 99-cent menu with Crispitos, corn dogs, chicken tenders, and more. Be sure to wait to fill up your gas tanks that week. The discounted prices will be worth it. Plus, they're drawing for a gas card. You can sign up for your chance to win all week in-store. 99-cent sausage biscuits will be available at the GM Mart Phoenix Avenue location Monday through Friday. Don't miss out on Customer Appreciation Day at GM Mart on Phoenix Avenue, Thursday, October 23rd.
Contractors, you've got jobs to win and customers to impress. That's why you choose Luxair HVAC systems, built for performance, efficiency, and reliability. And at J&B Supply, we've had your back since 1968. We're a local family-owned distributor that treats our customers like family too, with the products, expertise, and service you need to get the job done right. For over 50 years, HVAC and plumbing pros have trusted J&B Supply in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville. J&B Supply, where the professionals go.
If it rumbles, roars, or needs a little more power, take it to Exhausted Muffler and Motorsports in Clarksville. From muffler and catalytic converter repair to full custom exhaust systems, they've got you covered. Need welding or mobile welding along with equipment repair? They do that too. Custom fabrication done right. Located at 215 East Taylor Road. For performance, precision, and power, it's Exhausted Muffler and Motorsports. Call today at 479-214-2729 or stop by today.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Arkansas Athletics. Also presented by Sawyer's, sunrooms, patio covers, pergolas, driveways, and windows, including decorative concrete. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Green in the backfield. Washington now shifts to the left hip of his quarterback. They're going to run a shovel pass inside. Rohan Jones, and the two-point conversion successful.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. This is Hog Reaction.
Just play together, stay together, and just work together. Front level, second level, and third level, all being on the same page.
That was Xavier Story, star linebacker for the Arkansas Razorback defense, on how they can generate more tackles for loss, because they only had 2 all night, and they also ended up with 0 hurries on Marcel Reed and 0 sacks as well. Matt Jones, the defense, obviously leaving a lot to be desired. We talked about the defensive line, talked a little bit about the secondary as well, but your linebackers, they weren't able to get in those run fits tonight as well as they need to. Matt, whenever you're playing defense, whenever you're trying to do those things and get in those, fit in those tight holes, trying to fill those gaps. I mean, that's a difficult thing to do, especially when you have the athletes that Texas A&M has on the other side.
Well, there's what we were talking about earlier in the show about spacing, about when you get past one level, where is the help on the next level?
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that number 7 that Texas A&M has, that receiver, a dude that's going to play on Sundays, and then you have a tight end that's pretty good, and in Brock Kersher, number 87, we'll just say it that way. And the way that they go about it, it's you have to understand your assignment. You have to understand your codes and your clues, because when you give athletes like that a little bit of space, they'll make you miss.
Mhm.
And so if you hesitate a little bit in that gap, instead of you coming down and it being a 2-yard gap that you have to try to make a space in, it's a 5-yard gap. Man, it's tough to open field these guys in space, and then they can make you look silly. And then also the quarterback run. It's so tough to account for Marcel Reed and what he can do when it gets to third down. It kind of limits you as a defense. Because if you don't account for them and you do a great job and cover everybody up, then what's the quarterback going to do? He's going to take off for a 21-yard gains first down. So yeah, that A&M offense is super tough, and it helps. I mean, it helps when they have a running back that's good.
Or
They
two
have
or three.
receivers. Yeah, they got so much talent on there. It's like whoever you don't guard, that's where they're going to try to hurt you.
They're definitely going to try and hurt you, and they definitely did. And Marcel Reed was able to just get the ball around to lots of different receivers tonight. Concepcion, Bethel Roman, Burkhardt, like you mentioned, Craver as well, Owens. All these guys had three or more receptions tonight. They were able to really space the field as well. And like you mentioned, spacing is key when you're on offense as well. And when you have a linebacking core that's not able to fill those gaps and stay in that spacing, it's going to be a big night for the offense on the other side of the field. It's always a big night when we get a call from Keith in Fort Smith. Keith, what's up? You're on Hog Reaction with Matt Jones and Colton Little. What's up?
Hey, guys, I appreciate that big intro. That makes me feel good. I was going to tell you all, I got 4 points, I think, on this Bobby Petrino deal, because I'm starting to hear that from the hog masses.
Let's hear it.
First point is we got 9 SEC games next year, and I think that's important. That we want somebody that understands what that is. And Alex Golish and Summerall, and I know they've been OCs at the Tennessee, or they've been at Ole Miss a time or two. They played at Kentucky, whatever it is. I want a head coach that understands what the SEC is and what that's going to do. Second thing is, I think the boosters still like Bobby. When he went to the Touchdown Club and gave his big emotional, apology, that room stood up. That room is money, and those folks are the same money that's influencing, most of them at least, the Arkansas Razorback, all things football. The third thing I want to say is this. We are in one of the most competitive coaching search carousels, and the season's not even halfway over yet, or just there it is. So I'm sitting here looking at, we've got all these openings coming up. I think the Florida coach loses his job this weekend, and I think Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin, I know they're working on things or whatever. We'll see. We've seen what Lane can do in the past. We're going to see so many openings, and I don't think this is the time the Arkansas Razorbacks decide to put their foot in the ground and then dig their heels in and say, this is when we're going to get really, really moneyed. I think we avoid that. I think we trust Bobby because he got us through that time, and I think we prepare for a moment because there's always going to be an up-and-coming group of 4. There's always going to be a good SEC coordinator. I think this is not the time we go and say, let's go out and compete everybody. I think we put that in the roster building. We trust Bobby to develop a roster, and going to what Matt said, we give him a good DC. The other thing I was going to say is this. We have to keep in mind that this T-Will Sam thing, as much as we love those guys, they failed us from a roster perspective. Those defenders out there, some of those kids only need to be on an SEC team and wouldn't be. And I think we've got to keep that in mind as we evaluate Bobby. We also got to keep in mind December recruiting and the portal. We got to have a guy in here that's going to be here for recruiting and the portal so we can have a team for 2026. Thank you, guys.
Keith, man, appreciate the call. That's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good insight. Matt, I'm not sure I can disagree with a lot of that. Go ahead.
And I'll ask you this, Colton, because I think I agree with you that he had some good points. So we just talked about our offensive line being the best we've had in 4 years, but our defensive front being the worst. So it's kind of like we can't be the worst at something and expect to win. You have to be competitive, and I don't know where the evaluation comes. But all of a sudden, we had the last couple of years, we've had the worst offensive line in like Arkansas history. And then now you come back up, and we have a really good offensive line. I mean, they are competent. We can run the ball. We can do some things. And that's an SEC offensive. Then you go to the other side of the ball. Last year, we had 2 guys that are playing on Sundays now on this defensive line, and that's where we're feeling it. I mean, you are, because I don't know that there's a lot of Sunday talent. You got to go out and find a couple guys, and so then it comes back to where are you going to spend your money. and you gotta have some dudes in the trenches, or you can't win in the SEC if you don't have dudes in the trenches.
I am all for that program finding a way to responsibly spend the money that they now have to figure out what to do with. Because in the past, obviously, when they've been given this large sum of money to now build a roster, it's not been all the way put together. If you want to say that let's go ahead and just let Bobby stay, we'll figure all this out, and we'll just try and make enough make enough amends here in the transfer portal and in recruiting to work things out, then that's fine. You can do that. My thing is that Bobby Petrino has blown everything up every single place that he's been. And I love the coach. I love his little quips, his accent, the way that he delivers things, his leadership ability, the way that he talks in the press conferences. My dad called earlier, talked about how much he liked him when he was here earlier. Look, all of those memories are part of the reason why I remember falling in love with watching Razorback football and enjoying that part of Razorback football. But the thing with Bobby Petrino is that everywhere he's gone, eventually things have blown up, because one of those things you need to be a head coach to be good at in college football, he's not paid attention to. Let's not act like Bobby Petrino is this great recruiter that's just able to walk into a living room and land anybody he wants. He's really and truly not. All the great kids that he had here were Arkansas kids, and they wanted to be a Razorback because of the things that the previous coach did, to the heights in which he took the program. And I know that there's other things that come with that. Bobby does have his own charm, and obviously there's no question about his football IQ and his acumen. That is unquestioned. And I know that Keith called and said that there are 9 SEC games, and that is a big point. The fact that Bobby Petrino has been a head coach is a great thing for you, and it's a great reason why you're still in these games while he has the interim tag. But to me, Matt, as you move forward, you can't have a guy that has a track record of kind of being lackluster and limp when things really, really matter. And I know that Bobby Petrino really, really wants the job, and I know that he probably has other potential places that he can land and actually be a head coach after the way the Razorbacks have performed these last couple of weeks in the SEC. But Matt, to me, I think that when you say that now is a bad time because the coaching carousel is going to be so wide open, you're playing scared. You've been playing scared for a really long time. You played scared when it came to NIL. You didn't want to break any rules, as Hunter said. You didn't really want to do anything creative with that. And what happened? You weren't able to compete. You weren't able to compete and buy a good enough roster in the SEC.
Yeah, my pops was a coach 20 plus years.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times when you're a coach somewhere, when things start to change and things aren't going your way, every single one of these coaches that is coaching football right now has a couple down years, and you rub somebody the wrong way, and then all of a sudden you end up at a new program.
Yep.
And so that's kind of part of it. And this profession, there's going to be somebody that tells you they don't like you anymore, and you can't. And I think Coach Petrino's handled this situation well. Is you have to adjust and you have to adapt. And how are you in the face of adversity? And yeah, there's a lot. It's to a baseball term that Phil Elson uses a little bit, and it's the wins above replacement. So who are you going to get better is the thing. Is there somebody out there that you think his WAR rating is that much higher than Petrino's? And I don't know. And there, where is Arkansas on the totem pole? If there is 7 jobs already open already, who are you looking at? What kind of guy do you want here? It's a tough responsibility, and I think that if I don't know what the number is, but I think if Bobby wins 2 games, I think if he gets this team and he wins two of his remaining games, I think they'll give him a shot.
And you know what? I think that if he's proven that he's able to lead that team, and he is, just as sharp as he's always been, and maybe he's got a plan in place to get things moving from an NIL standpoint, we're
allowing 41 points in our last 5. I just saw that. Sorry to cut you off.
No. Yeah, I mean, and one of the things he has to do is figure out a way that, hey, you got to get with my money man to figure out how I'm going to get this, the ability to buy a $20 million roster, the ability to go out there and spend.
You got to get me 3 stops a game.
Yeah.
We can't get. That's what you're on to something
and
right there. It's like, can you give me 3-4 stops a game? That way we can do something on offense.
And you can buy 3 or 4 stops a game. It just costs $2 million for a defensive end. It costs $3 million for a really good linebacker. It may cost another $2 million for a shutdown cornerback or a strong safety. You got to have the ability to go in there and do that as well. And I'm not saying that Bobby Petrino is not a good recruiter, but it's not like he's a great recruiter that you can get. And there are those guys out there that are able to win any player they want in the entire country, transfer portal, high school, and you don't have that luxury right now. But when you talk about what other jobs are out there right now, we're talking about how Florida has the potential to be open. That's not the only job in the SEC other than Arkansas that has that potential. Auburn as well. Now they are in an absolute humdinger, second overtime right now against, and they ended up just finishing the game. It looks like, and Missouri's going to come out on top, 23-17. Looks like some maybe some questions coming up in that one. We'll see if we can wrap that up here in just a second. But Hugh Freeze just looks like he is about to punch somebody out. Which, if you were Hugh Freeze, I mean, Auburn has struggled this year. Looks like maybe a timeout on the field now. Auburn got one, so it's not final just yet. Auburn trying to come out on top, 17-23, down right now in the second overtime to Missouri. So it looks like maybe they are calling final. They are calling final. Oh my goodness gracious. They're getting out of there with a win. Wow.
You think that you think Auburn job comes open? Do you think there's any truth to like Lane Kiffin taking the Florida job? That means the Ole Miss job comes open. I don't know how much better Florida is than Ole Miss, but they have won a couple national championship in the last 20 years.
And I do think about how the Ole Miss job, it really, obviously Hugh Freeze was able to compete there for a little bit. They were obviously doing all types of crazy stuff that you weren't allowed to do back then. You're not allowed to do now either. And they were competitive then when they had some of those guys in the early 2010s. But Lane Kiffin has really been the most successful coach in terms of winning percentage in the history of Ole Miss. He's got to be. They have never made it to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, and even though they did drop one today on the road to a top 10 Georgia team, they are likely still in the driver's seat in the SEC right now. Now, there's lots of question marks around them, but I think that if Ole Miss were to go if Lane Kiffin were to leave Ole Miss and go anywhere, I mean, he had a job at Florida Atlantic for a little while. I'm sure that Joey Freshwater would not mind to make a reappearance and a resurgence down there in Gainesville. But there's lots of questions that will be coming up, I'm sure, about the coaching carousel. We really don't know. None of the names that we hear are out, all the media members here around Fayetteville say really are probably anywhere close to who's actually going to be the head coach. Like we've talked about, it might just end up being Bobby Petrino. They might just put a Band-Aid on this Razorback football program bullet hole, but we will see. This is Hog Reaction. We'll be back here in just a second to wrap it up, give you the top 25 scoreboard, and give your final thoughts on what's going on tonight. Texas A&M beats Arkansas 45-42. Matt Jones and Colton Little back in just a second. This is Hog Reaction.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, Sawyers, and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
It's football season, and that means tailgate parties and gathering with friends. River Point Wine and Spirits has all your favorite party supplies. You'll love our clean, organized store full of all the best liquor, wine, and beer. At River Point, we're a family-owned business where customer service is always our priority. Your journey, our spirit. River Point Wine and Spirits. Grand Avenue and I-540.
Less than 2 seconds left on the clock and no timeouts, Peter. I don't know what they're going to do. Down 3 and way out of field goal range. Truly an unlucky state to be in.
This state has plenty of luck. Last year, 8 Arkansans each won $1 million off a lottery ticket.
State as in a state of being, not... Whoa, touchdown Razorbacks. Did you...
This is winning, folks. Every lottery ticket you buy in Arkansas helps fund college scholarships. You can be the next big winner. Gambling Helpline.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
At Wave Rural Connect, our mission is to improve the quality of life in our communities across the River Valley of Arkansas and Oklahoma. Residents and businesses are experiencing the difference of our high-speed internet. Wave Rural Connect Internet provides a reliable residential connection for streaming, gaming, remote work, and homeschooling. Our business solutions provide the speed, stability, and security that you need, whether you're a mom-and-pop flower shop or large business. Check availability online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372.
When electrical needs pop up, don't get left in the dark. Call the local team that's trusted on and off the field. Harrison Electric. That's who homeowners and local businesses choose. Harrison Electric. Honest, dependable, and they leave no mess behind. From quick fixes to major upgrades, Harrison Electric is your go-to for all your electrical projects. Don't sit on the sideline with electrical problems. Get back in the game with the pros you can count on. Harrison Electric. Honest, quick, trusted. 652-3077.
All right. It's a beautiful day for football here at the stadium, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Score 0-0. And suddenly, I'm in the mood for a Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar. Now that's a winning combo. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. That hits the spot. When it comes to great taste, Coke Zero Sugar's always on the scoreboard. Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar.
Crisp air, colorful leaves, and the perfect season to get moving. It's fall at True Grit Running Company. Whether you're hitting the trails, walking the neighborhood, or cheering from the sidelines, we've got the shoes, apparel, and accessories to keep you comfy and supported. From cozy layers to top brands like Hoka, Brooks, and OOFOS, fall into your new favorites today. Stop by True Grit Running Company on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, right behind Chick-fil-A. This autumn, let your journey start with True Grit.
Hey Razorback fans, Matt Jones here. We're all experiencing higher prices on just about everything, and that includes sunrooms, patio covers, and windows. If you've gotten an estimate on any of these projects and you were shocked by the price, then you need to call Sawyers. They've been making quality, affordable products for 35 years. They're local, they have 100% financing, and a beautiful showroom with all their products displayed. So give my buddy Buzz a call or check them out, sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Less than 2 seconds left on the clock and no timeouts, Peter. I don't know what they're going to do. Down 3 and way out of field goal range. Truly an unlucky state to be in.
This state has plenty of luck. Last year, 8 Arkansans each won $1 million off a lottery ticket.
State as in a state of being, not... Whoa, touchdown Razorbacks.
This is winning, folks. Every lottery ticket you buy in Arkansas helps fund college scholarships. You could be the next big winner. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Arkansas Athletics. Also presented by Sawyers, sunrooms, patio covers, pergolas, driveways, and windows, including decorative concrete. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Green in the backfield. Washington now shifts to the left hip of his quarterback. They're going to run a shovel pass inside. Rohan Jones, and the two-point conversion successful.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. This is Hog Reaction.
Taking you all around college football this weekend. Number 1, Ohio State blanks Wisconsin 34-0. Indiana holds on. Takes care of Michigan State 38-13. Matt, I don't know if you've seen Francisco Mendoza, the quarterback for Indiana, but he is an absolute dog and may end up being one of the first quarterbacks taken off the board in April at the NFL draft. Texas A&M beats Arkansas 45-42. Georgia and Ole Miss squared off in a top 10 matchup, and the Bulldogs got the better hand of the Rebels in the Athens 43-35. Cigar game concluded 37-20. Alabama now number 6 in the country and 4-0 in the SEC. They take care of their rivals in Orange to the north 37-20. Texas Tech drops their first one to Kenny Dillingham and the Fighting Arizona State Sun Devils 26-22. Oregon knocks off Rutgers 56-10, absolutely dismantling the Scarlet Knights. Diego Pavia was beautiful today. He finished with 86 yards on 17 carries and 2 clutch rushing touchdowns as the Commodores off to their hottest start since 1950. Haynes King and Georgia Tech also remain undefeated. They take care of Duke 27-18. And in one of the biggest games of the weekend. Notre Dame takes care of USC 34-24. Jeremiah Love, 228 yards rushing in that game. Crazy from a kid that we saw firsthand here in Fayetteville. John Mateer back for Oklahoma, trying to come back from a poor game against Texas in the Red River rivalry. They knock off South Carolina 26-7. In the Holy War, the Mormons come out on top 24-21. BYU remaining undefeated as well. Missouri and Auburn just concluded in double overtime. The Fighting Eli Drinkwitzes remain 2-1 now in the SEC, 6-1 overall, and Auburn now falls to winless 0-4 in the SEC. Chandler Morris and the Virginia Cavaliers stay alive, 5-0 in the ACC. They take care of Washington State 22-20, and South Florida beat Florida Atlantic. We talked about Texas and Kentucky earlier. UAB came in and took care of business against 22-ranked Memphis. Alex Mortensen, son of the late Chris Mortensen, got his first start as the head coach in the interim tag after they got rid of Trent Dilfer down there in Birmingham, and they lead a nice victory over a Memphis team that took care of your Razorbacks earlier this year and was fighting for a playoff spot. So, Matt Jones, big weekend of college football. Number 2 Miami lost on Friday night as well. What are your takeaways from this weekend?
Man, I just think that's amazing. I shared a quarterback room with Rhett Lashley, Dow Loggins, and Alex Mortensen sitting around talking ball back when I was 20 years old, and to see those three, those gentlemen, man, just dominating in life and being coaching, and you know, being a coach is a calling. My dad was a coach, and man, I'm proud of those guys. I'm super proud of those guys. You know, that early in the year when it started, there was a little bit of a talk about, is the Big Ten a better conference than the SEC? I don't know. I think the SEC's gotten better. I think it's so. I think it's just super tough in the SEC. I don't know when the next time is you'll see undefeated teams, or seeing a team just win the division 4 years in a row. It's man, there's so much good talent. There's so much good coaching. You got a team like LSU who had the most veteran quarterback in this league coming back with all that talent they had, and they already have 2 losses in the SEC. Man, the SEC is amazing. Love teams like Georgia Tech and what they're doing. Love seeing Indiana doing what they're doing as well. And, I mean, college football is just a joy to watch. I mean, absolutely. How do you not love college football?
How can you not be romantic about college football? It gets weird and wacky every single week. Rain delays push you back to 2:00. You got a default. You got like kind of a de facto night game tonight. So that was great for the Razorback crowd that stuck it out. They were still 75,000 almost there cheering the Razorbacks on at the end of that game. That's going to do it for us here on Hog Reaction. Matt Jones, great as always. Good to hear from you, man. Appreciate you sticking it out with me here late at night as the Arkansas Razorbacks fall tonight to the Texas A&M Aggies, number 4 in the nation, Texas A&M. 45-42, the Razorbacks fall in the season to 2-5. Looking forward to next week's matchup against the Auburn Tigers at 11:45 a.m. Stick around here on ESPN Arkansas all week long. You'll hear from Chuck and Bo bright and early at 6 a.m., followed by the Morning Rush, Matt Jones and Phil on halftime, and Ruskin and Zach to wrap it all up all week long, talking all things sports here on ESPN Arkansas. We appreciate you. This has been Hog Reactions, brought to you by Sawyer's Sunrooms, the Stadium Shop on Razorback, and Bud Light, a proud sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Please drink responsibly, folks. We appreciate you. Till then, go Hogs, folks. Have a good night.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, presented by Bud Light, Sawyer's, and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the